Good evening. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Thursday after the bell, 10/13/22. Welcome, everybody. First of all, if you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo, and subscribe. And please do like these videos. It helps out with algorithms. You know the whole drill. We're going to do our typical analysis on ES on multiple time frames, going down to the 65, starting with the monthly. But we're going to add on our Elliott wave count. I don't usually put that on here. It's usually on my Patreon, but it's so important. We're at a critical juncture. So we need to be very thorough on what's going to happen here. Okay, I do want to mention that I went pretty strong for the on the reversal here and some calls, a lot of tech plays, Square, Amazon, blah blah blah. It doesn't really matter. And towards the end of the market, looked like we had a 5-wave move, impulsive move to the upside. So I did put on some put protection and took a little bit of profit. And I wasn't in front of my computer, so I didn't realize how crucial this point was that we got up to. And so I'll explain that as we go through, but I am full reversed on futures. I have a heavy put position, and that is one of two things because I have so many calls on. It's more of a hedge, and it's also positioned to the downside. So either way, I think we should reverse from this point. But it's what happens when we reverse. Does it hold? And so let's start off with our analysis on the monthly time frame. There is nothing bullish about this. Okay, there's no divergence. We broke down. We're still trending down from the 8 EMA. Now we got to the point where I said in the past videos that we should bounce. We got to that 50% retracement. We got to this 50-month simple moving average. That's typical. Now, how high we bounce, I don't know. That's going to be the dilemma here. But if we start breaking down from there, then we're moving on down, and could be, like I said, a little bit quicker. But this was a fast and hard bear market rally, and I love that. I'm glad we made some money on that, but we have to be very careful at this point. Let's go down to the weekly. Now, I talked about on the weekly time frame that there may have been some divergence. We're crossed back over. We haven't crossed. Let me make this a little bit larger here. On the MACD, there's divergence at this point, but I don't think we're oversold. I think it could go much further down. It just depends what happens here. We cross back over. Now, if we want to be bullish, then this has to cross back over the yellow leader line, has to cross back over the blue MACD line in order to be somewhat bullish. Now, we did from the RSI. We broke out from the downtrend on the RSI, and we're coming back down. It could be just a simple test back from that point. Whoa, sorry, computer's being a little slow here. Yeah, so it could be a back test and going up further, or this could continue to drop there. I know that doesn't answer any questions, but I don't have that answer for you. I just have the scenarios for you. You see this confluence that I was talking about in other videos. Once again, we got to this very important support along with the 200 week. Look how important this is. We had the mid line of the channel. That's a midline. We have the 200 week simple moving average, and we have this big area right here that we bounced off of. Okay, once we get down into this area, that's going to be our next zone that it will probably move pretty quick to the bottom, and then we'll probably have another reaction after that. Maybe we test all the way back up, but this is the next zone that we're looking at. And I continue to think, but just remember this 8 EMA, we're below everything here except the 200. So there's zero bullish about this chart. We're simply looking for a bounce if this continues to move higher. Now, on the daily, we'll start to get into some action here. You see, okay, this is this area that we oscillated back and forth, really big areas, and price moved very fast. That's where we're at now. That's where we had our liftoff from. And so we break below this area, the 3,500. I mean, it's almost 200 points away. But if you notice what's happening here, we're right at the 8 EMA. We're coming up on the 20, and this is still bearish. We still have lower highs and lower lows. We made another one. So this simply could reverse anytime now. So if we're looking at this from an Elliott wave point of view, this could be a five-way series. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 that could complete the series, and that would mean that this is probably all one wave, meaning that it's a wave one, and then we'll pull back to the 50-60%, probably near this downtrend line here, possibly testing the 3,900 area, and then continuing our downtrend in a very big bear market. So that is one scenario. That's what went into my head today after I saw things reversing. But the more bearish continuation to the downside is what I'm worried about at this point. And that would mean this is and I'll show you this on a different screen. This is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and another 1, 2. Okay. Intermediate, minor, minuet. These different degrees, all 3 degrees, and we're just now getting into the third of the third of the third if this is going to reverse here. Okay, and if we move over to the 65-minute chart, and just hear me out here. So we have our downtrend line here. We're right at that downtrend. That's what I saw. I noticed it right when I got home. I opened my computer. I was like, oh my gosh, we're that close. You couldn't really, it was distorted on my phone. And so this is not good, that we have to break above this downtrend line, even to imagine that we're going to go higher. And what I also, if this is the bearish series that we continue to the downside after this move, then we came back. Let's put this Elliott wave screen up. We came right back to the 618 retracement from the top here. So from the top, down low, all the way back to the 618, that's a perfect setup for a 1-2 setup to continue to the downside. And so I'm taking that setup. If it gets over 3,700, then I'm wrong and I get out. It's as simple as that. That's what I'm going to do on the futures. And, if it's I'll give it some room. I don't set stops. I'll give it some rooms, 37.10 or so, and just watch the price action. But this is a perfect 1-2 setup to the downside. Now, this is the really close 65-minute Elliott wave chart. This is what I post most of the time on the Patreon. Let me show you the series here. Okay, so this is a wave 2 up here. We had that large, massive move to the upside for wave 2. So that's a 1-2. And then the second series, 1-2. And then this 1-2. And finally, if this is the bear scenario, 1-2. And we start our series of waves 3 to the downside. Okay, let me show you on the SPX, a little bit bigger picture, show you what I'm looking at. So all this first down move here, to me, was a wave A or a 1. And this huge, massive move was a B or a 2. I think it's going to be a 1-2, but I'm keeping in mind that it could be a B. And then the C, we're just now getting to the C or the 3, all the way down here at this possible 1618 extension down at the 2400 area. Okay, so I think I have this drawn out just a little bit wrong now that I'm looking at it. I think our ultimate move here, we're looking at 2200 in that zone. And I think this wave 3 here, let's see where that takes. Okay, so yeah, that's the primary move. And so let me just adjust this real quick. I think that we're probably going to come down to this next 50% retracement, and we're going to have a bounce from there, just like we came to this 50% retracement and we had a bounce. That's from the Corona crash there, and this is this 50% retracement is all the way from 2008. Okay, so I could see the move actually bouncing more like this, and we get down to that would be the C of 3. That's the end of 5. That's 3. And the bounce for wave 4 would be there. Okay, so this is the bearish of bearish situation where we're a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we just made another 1, 2 right back in the 6, 1, and 8. And we're talking about this wave 3 from this wave 2 here in the red, not completing until way down in this 2400 area. Now, it's going to have to be a waterfall type move. This is going to have to move quick. So it should be pretty obvious what is happening if we reverse here, because this move is intense. You have a lot of waves that have to play out here, and we have a far way to go. It's not just going to kind of bounce up and down and up and down. It's gonna start moving. And the thing is you know, when we have this FOMC minutes and things like that, typically we have this large move in the opposite direction of the trend, and then it continues the trend the next day or next 2 days, and you're like, what the heck happened? You know, it tricks everybody. So today, I think that really bad inflationary news just gave us a rapid bounce in the wrong direction, and now we reverse and head back into the trend. So I unfortunately I didn't take more money off the table in my options account, but we'll have to deal with that later. I did reverse back to futures, and I'm expecting this plan here. I'm expecting the worst. And if we don't, let me go back to that 65-minute chart with ES. Now, if we reverse off of this 618 retracement, and we have a reversal to the 618 in the opposite direction, so this move down here, if this is a impulsive wave 1 to the upside, then I would expect that right around, let me clean this up so we can see it correctly, right around that golden zone. It can be off to 50, but I like that golden zone, the 618 to 786. So if we a closer look, impulsive move, if this is a wave 1, then a wave 2 should come back and test the 618 location, the zone, and make a higher low, and finally take off in the other direction. Okay, that would be the more bullish of the bearish scenarios, and that just means that this whole 5-wave series to the downside is a big old wave 1, and this is a big wave 2 headed up into the downside. That's my alternative. Okay, my primary is that this does not exist, and we head lower pretty fast, or at least not necessarily fast, but just in a melt mode where it just does not stop heading to the downside. So we had our pullback, we reloaded, and I see this falling to the downside more. But just remember that there's that alternative to the upside, okay? All right. I think that's all I got for you. I hope this helps. Please hit the like button. Good luck trading tomorrow. I'll try to put out another video if one of these scenarios is a little bit more clear to me. Okay. All right. So thank you for joining here at Option Center. Have a wonderful night.